Hey guys, this is Evil Gladiator once again with another Assassin Valhalla video. Today we are going to be looking at the East Anglia folklore. East Anglia is one of the main regions in Assassin's Valhalla that we get to explore. So as I was doing the research for this video, I found very interesting details about the East Anglia folklore. Okay, and I found it very connectable with the 30 minutes of gameplay footage that we got to see from the Ubisoft Forward event. So I will be talking about all of that later in the video. So basically what we are going to talk about in this video is about a few interesting folklores and stories and characters that might be quite possibly going to appear in Ubisoft's new open world action adventure game Assassin's Valhalla. So guys, the first one is very interesting. It is Edward the Martyr. He was the ruler of East Anglia, and what's great about this is Oswald became the successor to his throne after him. So if you guys watched the new gameplay footage of Assassin's Valhalla, you would know Oswald is a very important character that we get to encounter with earlier in the game. And one thing particularly interesting about Edward the Martyr's story is his kingdom was entirely destroyed by Vikings. That means he lost his kingdom by the arrival of Vikings to East Anglia. So this is very interesting. It is exactly the time period, and this means there might be some involvement that will be shown in the game about Edward the Martyr losing the throne and Oswald becoming the successor. It's not confirmed or anything, but I think it will be great part of the game if they shows us that. So this is another interesting folklore that existed in East Anglia. So this is called Sin Eater. So it is basically a person who takes up the sins of a deceased person so that deceased person's soul can go to heaven without the sins dragging him down. So there is many different versions of this and this tradition in different cultures throughout the world, and there is also one in India, which is where I am from, some sort of like this. I'm not expecting much to be shown in the part of the Sin Eaters, but I said some sort of side mission to be included this type of person, something into a look into their lives and something like that. So I think this is all interesting parts about the folklore of East Anglia. I think this one is particularly interesting. And the next one is called the Lately Worm of Spindleton Brow. So this is bit on the supernatural side. Actually it's a lot on the supernatural side and sounds like a story that you would hear in a Witcher game. But this is basically about a story of a woman who turns into a dragon. Okay, the story goes like this. A king marries a cruel yet beautiful woman who also happens to be a witch. And years passed, the witch becomes jealous of the king's daughter, who was very beautiful. And the witch curses the king's daughter because of how beautiful she was and because she was jealous. But the story goes, when the princess's husband returns from the place he was with, and he was put in the position to fight the dragon, the prince realizes that is the love of his life, and he kisses the dragon instead of fighting it, which cures the curse and brings the dragon back to her human form. And the prince then curses the witch into a toad. So that is basically the story. I don't know how they are going to implement this in the game. It's a bit tricky one, but I will expect them to include it because it's a bit popular, and I am hoping more to see the woman gets cursed instead of turning her into a dragon or something else. She can just become sick or something like that, cut off some supernatural elements and makes a beautiful story, and it will be very interesting to watch. So the next thing I hope to see in Assassin's Creed Valhalla is some kind of haunted forest or haunted house. It has to be a bit large and it has to build up suspension, and I will think it is a great idea to explore different types of locations and different types of folklore that located in East Anglia. So if you look at any folklore of any country or any place, there is meant to be a haunted house or a haunted forest or something scary in that area. So there is, from my research, I saw that there is many different haunted stories in East Anglia, and one of these I found very interesting was the Black Lady of Bradley Woods. So the story goes that she is a young pretty woman dressed in flowing black cloak, and people can, she's not ugly or anything like that, people can notice her face and her mourning face, meaning she was very sad, but she never harms anybody. She was just a pitiful creature. People took pity in watching her. So that's an interesting story, but it still has to be very scary to see a woman in the dark in the forest. And there are so many other things that Assassin's Creed Valhalla can provide to the player to explore it. So I think it's a very good guess that there will be a haunted forest or something horrifying in the Assassin's Creed game. So the next one is Babes of the Woods. So this is the most interesting story that I found. This is a very popular one. You might have heard this story or seen some movies or something like that. So this is two children given to their uncle after their parents were dead. But the uncle, instead of taking care of the children as he was supposed to, he appoints two soldiers to kill these kids. He wanted to inherit their money. That's why he appointed them to kill him. But the legend says that the soldiers couldn't bring themselves to murder these two children, and they left them. And the children just wandered around in the forest with no food, no way to survive, no water, starving, and eventually dying. So it's a very sad story. And it is said that when they die, they get covered by the leaves, by the birds in the forest. So this is a very sad story, I would say. It's very dark. So in the newer versions of the story, there seems to be God bringing these two kids into heaven safely, or some sort of bad thing happening to the uncle, and ends with a warning for the people adopting kids that they must take care of them like their own children, otherwise bad things will fall upon them. That became the moral of the story in the newer works. So guys, that's it for this video. We talked about few of the most interesting folklore things that occurred in East Anglia that I found very interesting. And the most interesting part about this, what I found, is about the green children of Woolpit, which is actually shown the new gameplay footage from the Ubisoft Forward event. So they are very interesting, and I will make another video about their story that is quite interesting and very in-depth story that I will make in another video. So please subscribe to my channel to see that video and more on Assassin's Creed Valhalla and other new single player games releasing, and I will really appreciate all the support you guys can give me.